Hush, little child, springtime. Hush, little child, springtime. Hush, little child, springtime. Soon we're going home. Mount your chariot, springtime. Mount your chariot, springtime. Mount your chariot, springtime. Soon we're going home. Ride your chariot, springtime. Ride your chariot, springtime. Ride your steed, springtime. Soon we're going home. To all the faculty and staff and special visitors and friends, and especially to all of you graduates in the arena and school of life. It's an honor and privilege to be standing here in front of such a distinguished group of scholars like yourselves. Now, because of that, I want you all to give yourself a nice warm of applause just for a job well done for getting to this point. And also from up here, I can tell you all have a mighty good dressage with a mighty good dose of horse sense. Now, you take that as a great accomplishment. See, many of you, you may know and you may not know, but horses have a good, keen sense of character. You know, they know if one of you, you got your nature of eating just as good as a heart of gold, or you're as hungry as the devil. Yeah. So, as far as I'm concerned, right now, as I look out, boy, that horse sense sure look good on you, one of you. Well, I was invited to be your special speaker at this here commencement. And I admit, I was quite shocked. I was taken back. Being humbly honored, I never had a college education. I only know horses, and I'm not much of a speech maker. I'm not a politician. But your dean here suggested, Mr. Bass, he said, you're a world-class success. Why don't you share with the graduates a few of your experiences that helped shape you and some of your some 50 years of success in your industry? Well, I immediately began to think, and I realized that it was also what contributed to my so-called success. Various folk that I'm proud to call my squires. I've also have been a squire to many of good folk too. You see, in the arena of life, one never rides alone. You need a squire. And for those who may not be familiar with the role of a squire is simply someone who assists a knight or a rider along their journey. And I'm proud to say I've been a squire to many a good folk. I'm proud to have many folk have been a squire to me. I've been called many names. Tom Bass, equestrian extraordinaire, the high-hatted horseman. I perform throughout this here country from sea to shining sea. But I tell you one thing, I could say there is no better medicine on a druggist's shelf than the feel of a good ride on the back of a fine horse. But I would not have had an opportunity to fully share my God-given gift to the world without the help of a few individuals that I'm proud to call my squires. My first squire, my mama Cornelia Gray. While still in her teens, she birthed me into this world with life. On January 5th, 1859, in Boone County, Missouri. I was born in a slave shack of very meager and humble means on the Bass Hayden plantation. I was born at a time when the birth of Negro boys was of little importance in this world, particularly in this land. My mama was forced to leave her parental responsibilities to attend to the whims and needs of Miss Margaret. That was Mr. Williams' wife. So my mama was forced to leave, and with that, I was adopted by my maternal grandparents, Presley and Eliza Gray, my squires. See, they taught me proper converse and to remain a true gentleman of respect. My mama, my nana used to comfort me whenever I had trouble sleeping or I had a bad dream of such or sort like. She used to comfort me with that little song I sung with you. Hush, little child, it's praying time. Hush, little child, praying time. Praying time, soon we're going home. As a young child, I loved to be alone and roam freely throughout the whole farm amongst the animals. And I took especially a keen interest in the equine. Me and horses, we seemed to understand each other better than most people. As a little boy of a scrawny stature, I learned to toddle while playing around with horses so tall I could literally walk one underneath their bellies. Me and horses, we developed a kind of a naive bond and trusted each other. And as you young folks would say, we hit it off quickly. They would follow me around the farmyard like 1,200-pound lapdogs. And by age 6, me and the horses, we were together, and we would just, with no fear at all, be jumping over steeples and fences together. It seems like me and the horses and me, some folks say we acted so reckless. You know, my nana, she would call me that and say you're being reckless. Didn't want me to all law, child. I don't want you to be crushed with one of them 1,200-pound beasts. But she, like many folks on the plantation, couldn't help to notice my peculiar gift, I would say, of being able to communicate with animals. Heck, I just treated them and talked to them the way I would talk with you and you. They were my friends, very close friends. My squire, my grandpappy Presley, used to rave about me. Praise that I was going to be some kind of prophet or something big and great that will help lead his people to a better way of life, a better way of living. Said he wanted to be the type of man that would bring a basic high quality of dignity to basic business dealings with people. He was a highly respected carriage driver over at the Mexico, Missouri's Ringo Hotel. He told me, he said, if you do a job, you do it right, you don't dare do it at all. He used to always tell me, used to preach to me, get you some schooling, boy. The world will treat you harshly if you don't get yourself some schooling. Many folks, they shed their blood and they died to open up the doors for you to have that opportunity. Any way you can. You learn to read, well, get you some schooling. My squire, my daddy, Miss Margaret's husband, William H. Bass. He gave me my first riding experience. Mr. Bass taught me how to ride horses that when I was around 3 years old. Shucks, I've been sitting on mares since I was no larger than a horsefly. My squire, Lawrence Bass. Now, he was the cousin of Mr. Williams, and he was a full of an adventurous sort. And I first met him when I was in my teens, and he would come around the barn, the stable, and he would tell me all these exciting tales, like the time that he was a cowboy and used to ride the cattle trail from Denver, Colorado to California. About the time he was a miner in the California gold rush of 1849. Yeah. He even mentioned that once he was a sailor on the high seas. And one time there was this violent storm that rose up. Whoo, and it capsized the boat. And everyone had to abandon the ship and were clinging on for dear life. He told me that he was beating off a man-eating shark. Well, he told me that, you know what, and that was a white man who treated me, I felt, as just as equal as anyone else. He even mentioned that he told me that, you know what, Tom, you appear just as good as any other fellow that I ever met, black or white, colored or whatever. I remember the old bay that he was riding, and he came around to the stable and he showed it to me there. And this animal had developed a strange sickness, which it caused his head to toss back and forth. And I looked at it closely, and I knew immediately. I said, you know, this bay, he got a bad spot on his gum. I heard you said you take this animal to the best veterinarians in Denver, but I guarantee you, if you take that bit out of his mouth and rest the gums up for a month, he's going to be better. I guarantee. Then I took the horse by the bridle there, and I managed to get his mouth open. He bucked a little bit, and I carefully reached all into his mouth there. I rubbed my finger along the gum line, and whoo, the animal bolted. He was in pain. Lord said, "Oh, but doggone! How in the devil them big city vets couldn't figure this out, but a Boone County farm boy like you could?" I just simply smiled and replied, "Well, Mr. Lawrence, them horse doctors don't make much money telling folks to rest a horse's mouth out for a month. Can't sell much money that way." Lawrence strongly encouraged me to give severe thought to the dream of someday owning my own barn and training stable. And I held that ideal closely in my heart and in my mind for many years. It even carried me to the days that I came up to Kansas City. My squire, Joseph Potts, he gave me my first professional job of training horses at the company he and his partner, Cyrus Clark, the Mexico Horse Sales Company, over in Mexico, Missouri. Now, at first, his partner was highly agitated against taking on a colored boy, such as me, to say the least. But I held my belief in myself, and I proved my mettle. I did all kinds of jobs, from slopping out the stables and everything, working my way up, and I eventually became a part of the trusted staff. I listened very carefully to what was going on. I learned a lot. See, the good Lord gave you 2 of these and 1 of these. To be successful, which one do you think you should lose the most? You got 2 of these, so you used the most. That's how I succeeded. One of the ways I did. I developed quite a reputation, a national reputation as a trainer of what some call rogue horses and outlaws and incorrigible violent horses. Well, I never written them off as incorrigible. See, my secret is that I treat horses like your friend. That's how you do people. I listen to the problems and what was going on in their life. And they, in turn, listen to me. I know the abuses that were going on in their lives. And they knew what was going on in my lives amongst my people as well. And we had some wonderful conversations. See, I'm just basically their coach. And I simply bring out the best in them. Like a shining star. That's what any good coach would do there. We're just having fun while we performing. And of course, Joe Potts many times went out on a limb for me. He helped me into a sport, which at that time, in his day, which was highly competitive, a highly competitive white male-dominated arena and sport. I guess you might say my genius came by teaching and challenging myself in this special sport called high school show horse performance, or equine ballet. I became known as the leader of the 5-gate Saddlehorse. Joe Potts, he recognized me, that I was extraordinarily good with horses, and he recognized that my time had come. He wanted me to show off this one horse that everyone had come to call as a crazy black mare. And but that horse, Helen McGregor, had a name. We bonded and trusted each other smoothly, and I overheard the white staff talking. If only Tom Bass was a white man, he would be able to rightfully show off that crazy mare in the upcoming show, the Mexico Horse Sales Exposition and Competition. Well, that was where all kinds of fancy had-to-do folk and buyers and sellers would all come converge on Mexico for this event. Well, Joe got fed up with all this talk. And I remember one day I was walking up to the stable, and here comes Joe, come riding up in his carriage. He pulls it up right next to me, and indeed he looks down at me, and he starts slamming the seat, slamming his carriage seat. Said, I hope you ready, Tom Bass, because you about to be the first Negro in history to show the Missouri and Kentucky folk that a good man of fine character such as yourself can, on the back of a fine horse, can provide and perform a riding miracle. Tom, I want you in that show, and I'm putting you in that competition to show off that horse that they call the crazy black mare in the Mexico Horse Sales Company show. There was another time that Joe Potts stood up for me and my character, and it happened when I was in Chicago, I believe around about 1904. And after the competition, I was visiting with a small gathering of people. You know, I'm signing autographs and having a good conversation with them. And it was at this time that I would call that I would receive a taste of what I call being baited by a racist agitator. See, that's why me and some reporters, we don't get along. I'm tired of my words, and I'm sure some in my position can agree with me, words being twisted and taken out of context by anyone, especially some that have deceptive motives. And there I was. I'm just having a conversation, talking with a group of few there. And then I heard this voice coming out of the rear of the crowd. You know, the voice goes out, hey, boy, how come you got the same name as the man who invented the bass bit? Are you trying to profit? You trying to profit off the man that invented the bass bit? Or you just some uppity boy that's trying to steal someone else's fame? Huh? Tell me. Well, I looked to see who this voice was coming from. The crowd parted like the Red Sea. There it was. There he was right there. Was I upset? Well, it got to me a little bit, but I remember what my grandpappy, my nana used to teach me. They said there's more than one ways to fight battles. Yeah, and I'm not talking about the ways strapped with a weapon or with the muscles you got on your back, but fighting it being wild, being smart, with this thing you got between your ears. Well, I dug my fist in my pocket. I took a deep breath there, and I looked at him. I gathered my words carefully, and I told him the truth. I said, "Deed, yeah, I got my first riding lesson from my master, but my name is on the bit because I invented the bass bit." Then a voice came out from the other side. It was the voice of Joe Potts there. He shouted all the way up there and he says, "Yeah, and he gave it to a gift for all the world. No personal gain for all the horses of the world. Didn't want no patent for it because, you see, he wanted to be a gift for all the world. If you got a problem with that there and you want to solve this dilemma, I'll be happy for you to step right up here and tell me in my face, face to face, man to man." At that point, I felt a keen, secure knowing that I had a human friend nearby by the name of Joseph Potts. And, of course, that old agitator, he just gently and slipped and slithered away into the crowd like an old snake in the grass. To this very day, I have never abused a horse when it comes to breaking or training. Breaking. Let's think about that word for a moment, breaking. I hate that term. It sounds so violent. And see, when I'm working a horse, working with a horse, I do not raise my club or hand or fist in anger. I do not whip it. I do not strike it. I never use spikes or spurs to rake an animal. What some folks do with their technique, that's them. I don't need to. You see, a good horse person would tell you, horses are sensitive creatures, and you train them right. You give them plenty of love and proper attention and guidance. And you can guide that animal to which direction you wish you want to go, simply by the way you shift your body in the saddle. You can even do this on bareback. Most of the time, I didn't use a bridle. But unlike some impatient trainers, I didn't have to starve them until the horses gives in to my whim. Or make the animal crash into a barbed wire fence or scare them or whatnot there, just to control or punish the creature. I hardly even have to raise my voice. To conquer the abuse, especially towards the coats, I developed this special bridle bit that eased the pain and discomfort horses develop. Young coats during their formative years of training. Many times I could work a spoiled horse better without using the bit at all, but that's when I had this new kind of bit, this invention that's still used today. But I refused to patent it for two reasons. Number one, I did not want to selfishly restrict the widespread gift to all the horses in the world. And second, I didn't do it for money. I believe my needs were already sufficiently met by the talents and what the good Lord has provided and given to me by my squires. And now some folks call me plumb crazy. Folks say I was crazy when I decided to take Mr. Lawrence's advice and move on up to Kansas City, Missouri, and assist Chief George Hill, the fire department, and the board of Kansas City, Missouri Fire Department Board Advisory Board. And I created this little horse show as a fundraiser to help provide new technology and horses for the fire wagons that we use, the apparatus. And I wanted this horse show to be the best. And I had some help to put up the first prize money, the Kansas City Bank and Trust Company. Most I provided a lot from my own pocket. And I had some helpers with me because I wanted this little competition, this little exposition to be a world-class show. And when I retired from it, it's still going on today. Some of you, I believe you know the American Royal Saddlehorse show. I'm proud to have been a part of that and helped with that. My squire. John Hook was one of the best and respected equestrians in the state of Missouri. And I remember there was this petition being circulated around that would ban me as well as other riders, other colored riders, from competing in the same competition, along with the white riders. The instigators of this petition needed John's signature in order to secure its credibility. John later told me, he said that when he took a closer look at this here document and saw that my name was on it, well, he took out his pen and he commenced to start scratching my name off and other names that he knew there, other Negro horsemen. And he said, if you folk really knew what kind of fella Tom Bass really is, you won't be trying to do this. I ain't going to do it. But let me save you the trouble and eliminate his name right now for the list altogether. And he scratched his name off, scratched my name off. And nevertheless, this petition never went anywhere and saw the light of day. My squire, Luther Splint Barnett and William Jennings Brown. I remember I was up in Des Moines, Iowa, and I was going to compete in a show in the Iowa State Fair. And that's another time I experienced another embarrassing act of bigotry in my life. And there arose this vicious complaint about one white rider he had about when he found out that my name was registered to appear. And this rider said he felt rather uneasy and uncomfortable with my presence, and it would make him feel quite undignified if I should ride in the same contest to him. So as a rebuff, the board decided to bar me. I had a chance to take my horses and tack. I didn't get a chance to take my horses and tack into the stable. Right when I got off the train, I got the news, and I had to turn around and load everything and my horses and all the equipment and tack and all the way back in the train car and make a long journey back to Mexico. When Luther heard the news, he rallied the other white riders and he vowed that he would ride and show my horses in the competitions, Tom Bass style, and give me the credit. They came up with a saying. You may have heard it. They said a good vehicle is Ford built, but a good horse is Tom Bass trained. Yes, they entered and they rode my horses and took home top prizes, first place and second place. My squires. The next year, my spirits were quite down. My wife, Angie, said I was kind of honored about that situation. But that next year, William Jennings Brown came to be. Now, William was once a presidential candidate running against President Theodore T.R. Roosevelt. Although he lost the presidency and, T.R. became president, we still maintained a good friendship. And he informed me, he said, Tom, the Iowa Fair has a brand new board this time around. It's a fresh atmosphere. I strongly suggest that you enter again that show. I want you to do your very best, which I know you will. I want you to hit them. Hit them good. Hit them hard. Well, after much consideration, I almost didn't. But I decided to give it another whirl, and I entered, and to my surprise, this time the fair officials, they practically rolled out the red carpet for me. They treated me like royalty in the light of the embarrassing escapade of the previous season. Well, I did what Mr. Brown told me to do. Me and my horses, we gave it all we had. We gave them a good ride. We hit them, and we hit them good. My squires, Theodore T.R. Roosevelt. I remember I was in Kansas City here, Westport, and I had my livery and business and training stable, and T.R. would come through, and I remember one time he told me, because he was looking for some nice, fine riding animals that he could take back to New York, the East Coast of the riding trails. And he looked at me, I remember once, and he told me, he said he had never seen such a fine, ruddy character, an individual like you in this white male-dominated sport. You gonna make it. My squire, Colonel Charles Wheeler of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. I remember when me and a group of colleagues, including Colonel William, after an exposition, and we went up to a certain restaurant. And right before we hit the door, I kind of figured something wasn't right about this here. Certain places that I know that colored folk weren't allowed to go at that time. But they kept pushing me on, we're talking along, and I began to get a little agitated there. And right before we hit the door, the group suddenly stopped. And then the proprietor, I could see his hand. He looks down there, and he turns to me and said, you know, your kind, y'all come up, your kind, you got to go around to the back. You know, he sternly informed me like that and didn't want to cater to me there. And so I was not welcome. And so told me that we don't serve Negroes, colors. Well, Colonel Williams, all I could say was that he turned around and he says, well, you know what? What's good enough for you, Tom, is good enough for me. By God, I'll be honored to go into this restaurant with you. As far as I'm concerned, you don't look colored to me. And they all just came around me, and they pushed me all into that restaurant there. The pride didn't have to say nothing. He just stood with his mouth looking dumbfounded. Besides, I had to go in there. If everyone wanted to eat, I was the one picking up the evening's tab. My squires, Miss Lula Long Combs, she was known as the Grand Dame of the American Royal in its early days. I gave her a few ride lessons, and she would come ask for them there. A wonderful animal lover, stout and pretty young lady there, but really tough as nails. And she, with her really big hats, look as big as a flower garden herself, she would get on, and she rode those buggy, those roasters. You had 4 to 6 horses around, a woman dominating and made them all go around the track so smooth. She had full control. And she was control of herself. My squires, Mr. Will Rogers, celebrated journalist and celebrity himself there. My squires, he would come over to the house there, and he didn't have a bite to eat, or so I found out. And he would entertain us with all the stories and tricks he would do with his ropes and whatnot there, and all kinds of stories. He would spin a yarn, had us all tickled and entertained. That way, Angie, it was okay. Well, he earned his keep, and he got a spot on the dinner table, or the supper table there. My squad, Tom Mix, another good friend, movie star, stuntman, redeemed. Fine gentleman, my squire, Mr. Bill Pickett, Hollywood's first black cowboy movie star, inventor of the sport bulldog. It's done a little different today there. And those some of the ways they would do. I wasn't a cow puncher, a cowboy like that. It wasn't my sport, dude. But to what Bill had to endure, not being able to enter into a competition, so he had to sign Indian as his nationality, not colored or Negro or black, in order for him to ride. My squires, Art Simmons and his son Jimmy Simmons, at that wonderful horseman I had an opportunity of working with there. And down in Mexico, they call that the Little Dixie, the Saddlehorse capital of the world. Art and his family, wonderful, kind, gentle people there. The Queen of England. I remember she sent an emissary from England, from London, England. And I was, after a competition, was riding off one of my favorite friends in Bell Beach. And she requested our presence at her Diamond Jubilee celebration way off in London. She requested our presence, but we had to turn it down, me and Bell, because you see, and it's for a very good reason. Well, you see, the reason is between these here United States and London, England, there's a large body of water. They call it the pond. You and I may call it an ocean, the Atlantic Ocean. And the reason is being that we had to turn it down because I didn't want to get out of sight of any tree. I'm not going across that water all the way over there. I heard them stories. I don't want to end up like Mr. Lawrence, have to fight off a man-eating shark. But she understood it. She came eventually over to see me herself there. And I had many other royalty to come pay a visit. And I'm proud to call them my squires. Of course, most importantly, I can't forget the many four-legged squires that I have. They were my champions, my athletes that I mentored, and they made me shine. I'm talking about Miss Ricks and some of the names, Bell Beach, Columbus, that gray gelding, that beautiful gray gelding that I raised is like a little puppy dog at that. Would leap over fences or climb under just to right underneath my legs and not that. Just like one of those lap dogs here. He made Buffalo Bill Cody look good, perched on the back of Columbus. Yeah. And old Rex McDonald, the all-time worldwide champion. Yeah, and he's buried out there at the Audrain County Saddlehorse Museum. Yeah, in Mexico, Missouri. Well, before I close, though, I can't forget to add a very important squire that's been with me for many a time and year. Squire by the name of Angie Bass, my bride, my wife. For over 40 years of matrimony, she was right there by my side. To all my ups and all my downs. Mostly a lot of downs. But as we come to a close, I like to say to you graduates, if there's not anything else you take away, heed these words. There's no better medicine on a druggist's shelf than a good ride on the back of a fine horse. Now you may say like my son Inman, I said he told me. He said, well, Papa, I don't care for horses. It may be your sentiment. You won't have nothing to do with them. Well, whatever your ride is, or what you calling it may be, you still must apply this important principle of what I'm going to share with you. In the arena of life, one never rides alone. One needs a squire. And when you ride, and if you happen to fall, and you will fall many times, we're not perfect, but it's what you do with it, what you learn. It's called making mistakes, and that means you are learning. But you have to make a choice from there. Do you sit there and you gripe and complain, or do you stop and take a little thought and pull yourself up, dust yourself off, learn what you did wrong, and maybe you can make it to a right. Change your course, change your direction, change your technique. Climb back on your saddle and carry on with your ride. You say, what you talking about there? You say, well, you don't have to look fancy. No. You just long enough, you can just live and you can tell the tale. And also, you gotta have fun, and no matter what your ride is. And now you say, well, what you talk about ride like that? I said, well, your ride could be a teacher. It could be a librarian right there. You could be an artist. You could be an engineer, technician like this fine fella right there. Yeah. Because no matter what, when you're having fun, you're giving it your best, whenever your ride. Now, if you don't mind, I'm quite finished here. I want to thank you all for lending me your presence in your ears. And now, old Tom, I'm going to go on up and finish my ride. Do Lord, oh do Lord, do remember me. Do Lord, oh do Lord, do remember me. Do Lord, oh do Lord, do remember me. Way beyond the blue. Tom Bass forever rides on through the gates of the heavenly skies. Tom Bass forever rides. He rode horses since he knee-high to a little horsefly. Tom Bass forever rides on through the gates of the heavenly skies. Tom Bass forever rides. He rode horses since he knee-high to a little horsefly. He was a show performer, equestrian, though he never starred in a movie western. Created Kansas City's first premier horse show, which became the American Royal, Rode in parades for presidents, a friend of kings and queens, even businessmen. Won over 3,000 horse show awards, even taught a mule to gallop backwards. Tom Bass forever rides on through the gates of the heavenly skies. Tom Bass forever rides. He rode horses since he knee-high to a little horsefly. Tom Bass forever rides on through the gates of what's his name? Tom Bass forever rides. He rode horses since he knee-high to a little horsefly. A high-hatted horseman when he geared, he could make a horse dance. The audience cheered. Some people called him crazy cause they heard him boast. I could even talk to horses, they know me most. An animal lover who gently reined, never ever hit a horse that he trained. He didn't want a horse to suffer abuse. The best bit he invented is still in use. Sing, Tom Bass forever rides on through the gates. What's his name? Tom Bass forever rides. He rode horses since he knee-high to a little horse fly. Tom Bass forever rides on through the gates. What's his name? Tom Bass forever rides. He rode horses since he knee-high to a little horse fly. Thank you for sharing your time with me. My name is motivational storyteller, cultural historian, Brother John. And thank you for sharing this time, Tom Bass commencement address there. I'm Brother John. Peace and blessings to you all. And never forget, one never rides alone without a squad in life. Find your ride, have fun. Thank you.